What's up, guys? Welcome back to Range Logic. Today we got a special video. We have the AUG M1A3. This is the NATO version that takes the standard AR-15 magazine instead of the proprietary magazine that came with the original AUG. They've also done away with, on this version, the built-in sight that comes with it. So they did a full-length Picatinny rail all the way to the back, so you can put any optic of your choosing. This is a ACOG with the ACSS reticle on it with the chevron. And then I also have a Streamlight TLR HL on here for a light. So I'm able to shoulder the gun and I can click this light on real quick if I need to. Still kind of working through it. Probably going to put a different light with some kind of a pressure pad here. But let's go through the gun real quick for those that are not familiar with it. So I do have my Surefire RC2 suppressor on here. The AUG has a foldable front handle here. An adjustable gas block right up front. So you can run in normal, adverse, and suppressed, I believe it is, or grenade. There's a grenade setting on here. So you can tune it if you're running suppressed or not. You have a non-reciprocating charging handle on this side. It does not reciprocate, but it also does not lock back on an empty magazine. My version does not. Some of the original versions, they do lock back. But this one does not. So when you reload, and I'll show you guys here in a minute, you do have to run the bolt again by hand. The trigger, although not the best in the world, it is a bullpup, so we do kind of expect it. Not too bad. And then reset, very audible on the reset. I actually got used to this trigger. It's not that bad. If you do have some high-end ARs or high-end triggers, you'll find it might be less than ideal on this, but you can definitely get used to it, and I think the benefits of this gun outweigh a little bit of a mushy trigger on it. So the other thing we have is, this is our magazine release. So when you're holding this gun, let me get the sling out of the way. When you go to reload your mag, you have to come up here and push, and then you can pull the magazine out. So from here, you come up and you can pull the mag out. You can also hit it with another magazine. You can come up and hit and then insert from there. But I find it works best if you just come up with your thumb, pull the mag out, drop your new mag in, and it's not bad. Let's see, safety's up here, pretty standard, just a crossbolt style safety, nothing crazy. It could be a little stiff, but when you're holding it on this side, you're gonna hit it with kind of that part of your finger. So you're just jamming it through. So it's not bad at all. So we'll go ahead and get some rounds down range, and then we'll talk about it some more, tear into it, and I'll show you guys what the inside looks like. All right, we got 2 more rounds loaded up. We're gonna do 2 rounds and then we're gonna do a reload, kind of get in the swing of it so you guys can see how this reload works and how it compares to a standard AR. So we're gonna set ourselves up for a 1R1, so we'll just do a single shot and then a reload. Let's run that again. So I'll explain it a little bit later. Normally, if I was just practicing after not running this gun for a while, which I haven't, I would probably take this sling off, especially this sling. Not a huge fan of all this shit going on over here. It kind of gets in the way. And it's hitting my magazine when I go to do my reload. However, I cannot take it back off right now without unweaving the whole sling. And I'll show you guys why here in a little bit, but it has to do with how the rifle takes down. And just so you guys have something to compare it to, the Daniel Defense DDM4 V7. So you guys can see the size difference here. Let me hold that up a little better. So with the suppressor, it is still shorter than the V7. Same barrel length, same caliber, same magazine, but that much shorter. I'm gonna simulate a reload on this guy. For any of your newer shooters out there, if you don't have too much experience shooting these guns, so you can see what a traditional reload would look like. Just so you can see how much kind of easier it is to reload a traditional AR. So you can see it's a little bit quicker. Our mag release is up here on the side instead of down in the bottom. I don't have to re-rack the whole action. I can just hit the bolt release and send it home and get back into it. So definitely faster with the AR on the reload. However, I think the AUG has its place. It's still around. It's still used in militaries around the world. So that speaks for itself. It's definitely a good gun. Is it a gun if you had to choose your first AR, one AR? Would that be the one I'd recommend? Probably not. I think it's more of a collector piece, something that you really enjoy or you saw in the Die Hard movie when you were a kid and you just had to have it. That was what I was like. I saw that gun. I was like, I got to get it. As soon as I saw one, no question, bought it. It was actually my first AR. So despite what I'm telling you, I did the exact opposite. All right, we got some rounds downrange, waiting for it to cool down, and then I'm going to show you guys something special. While we wait for that, just want to go over some things. So the AUG, it got its name. It stands for Army Universal Gewehr, or Universal Army Rifle. It was originally designed in 1960, and then it was adopted by the Austrian Army in 1977. The total gun is right around 28 inches long, still has a 16-inch barrel because of this bullpup design, and all that simply means is the magazine is behind the action up here. So the barrel is starting here, so you still get that full 16 inches, legal in every state. I mean, unless you're in New York or California or some shit, but this will work just as well as your traditional AR. Some of the downsides, you could say, would be the mushy trigger and then the time it takes to do a reload. So you can practice with a traditional AR and get your reloads down super fast. You can be super fast with them, super quick. Obviously, you can train and get significantly faster on this, but just the ergonomics of it and how it's designed, it's not a fast reloading gun. It can be a fast shooting gun, but the reload does take a little bit of time. That being said, though, in a perfect world, you should never reload in front of somebody. You know, you should always duck behind cover or you're behind something when you're doing a reload. So it might not be such a big deal. The other interesting thing, like I mentioned, is the fact that it has that gas block so we can tune this for suppression. So this here flips up. You could lay it down on a sandbag. That being said, I have done that, and it will put a little bit of a burn spot in there just from the gas coming out. Not a big deal, but some people might not like that. The other thing that I've noticed is right here is a bunch of gouges. So every time you shoot, that brass is coming out of here, doing a 180 and kind of scalloping the side of that. And you can kind of, you know, it's kind of significant, but might not bother everybody. I don't mind it one bit, but some people might be a big deal. There's a company that makes a brass deflector in here. I think it's like $100 or something. So I didn't think it was worth it. I don't really care if my guns get scratched up. So I wasn't going to spend $100 on that. I'd rather spend $100 on more ammo to keep practicing. So we're going to dive right into this. I'm going to reposition the camera so you guys can see down. I'm going to show you guys how to take apart this rifle. And what I think is probably the most unique factor about it is just how it how it comes apart and how simple this whole gun is. It's unbelievable. All right, so here we go. We got it on the table. There is no ammunition here. We're going to go ahead and make sure it is clear. There is no magazine in it. So now we're good to take it down. So back here in the buttstock, sorry, I keep making noise banging that around. there's kind of a button back in here, and you can push it, and that's what releases your sling swivel mount, which is why I mentioned earlier I couldn't just take it off. So you can push it in, and that pulls out. And it's just like a multi-position key, and that's what holds in the trigger pack in the back of your buttstock. So from here, this comes off, just as simple as that. You can see where that pin interlocks with these notches here. And then here's your trigger pack. And that's it. This is, I mean, you can't get simpler than that. It is all plastic, and it's just simple. That's one of the coolest things about this gun. It's all made out of plastic, and it's just modular. Like, you can just take this off. You could buy a new trigger pack if you wanted to. Now, for the end, let me flip this around here. So the other awesome part that I haven't mentioned yet is the fact that you can swap barrels on this instantly. So right here is a small little button. You grab that button and turn. Oh, my bad. You gotta lock the handle back. There we go. Push that button down, twist the barrel, and the whole barrel can come right out. So they do make aftermarket barrels that are longer. You can get a heavy barrel for this that actually comes with a tripod or a bipod connected to the front of it. And you can see those in the Austrian Army as well. They have a bunch of those. It's kind of unique. Obviously, it would go out much further, but it's pretty sweet, especially if you had one of those special ones with a, you know, the fun switch on it. So then from here, now it's just empty, charging handle, and that's charging handle right here interacts with the plate on the barrel. That's why you have to have the charging handle locked back to pull the barrel out. So now from here, push this big square in. And it all comes out. This is your short stroke gas piston system right here. Bolt carrier. There's your upper receiver. And then here's your lower. And again, all plastic, hollow all the way through, just plastic. If this breaks, you can swap it out. You can get a different color one. Doesn't matter. The trigger in here is kind of wild. It's just a kind of like a push rod almost that just interacts with the bolt carrier assembly. So that's kind of interesting. But that's all this gun is. Just a couple parts. You can see the bolt carrier and how it interacts with the upper receiver there and locks up. Your firing pin's back here, and it's held in by two plastic tabs. Also extremely easy to remove. Maintenance, change it if you had to. No big deal. All of this can be done in the field. No tools required. So I think that's a good contender for a great gun. Something that would last you an extremely long time in any kind of situation. If something happened, you could just take it apart, wash it in the creek, put it back together, and you'd be good to go. All right, guys, that's all we got for you today. That is the Steyr AUG A3. This is the M1 variant, if you guys are looking around for it. This is the NATO version. They still have non-NATO versions available. One more thing to mention for you left-handed shooters. On the non-NATO version, you can get a piece that can actually switch it to a left-hand operation where the brass would come out the left-hand side. So that's one thing to note, too, for all you lefties out there. Other than that, space-age gun, modern technology, built in the 60s. Love it or hate it. Let me know in the comments. We'll see you guys there. And as always, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe, like, and share, and we'll see you guys on the next one. You guys think I was going to throw that gun? I'm not going to throw that gun. I'll throw these. Get the f out of here. All right. You. NATO. This is Christ on a cracker, dude. NATO version that takes a